morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Dhakal. The top stories first. NCP Secretariat meeting ends inconclusively. Leaders annoyed by Prime Minister's working style. 3 more people test positive for coronavirus. Number of cases climbs to 57 in Nepal. Government preparing to call budget session. Authorities busy setting up additional seats in Parliament building. 34 countries and territories yet to report coronavirus. 5 managed to get rid of the disease completely. And UEFA faces the tough task of managing fixture congestion, says internal football calendar will be disrupted for 2 to 3 years. And now the news in detail. The Secretariat meeting of the ruling Nepal Communist Party was held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar yesterday evening. The meeting ended inconclusively with the decision to meet again on May the 2nd. The meeting was called after a group of NCP leaders expressed their dissatisfaction over the working style of Prime Minister KP Oli. According to NCP spokesperson Narayan Kaji Shrestha, the leaders during the meeting decided to meet again as internal discussion and consultations were still ongoing. The meeting was attended by Prime Minister and NCP Chair Oli, Executive Chairman Puspa Kamal Dahal and other top leaders including Madhav Kumar Nepal, Jalanath Khanal, Vice President Bamdev Gautam, General Secretary Vishnu Paudel, Party spokesperson Narayan Kaji Shrestha and Secretariat member Ishwar Pokhrel and Ram Bahadur Thapa. Participants of the meeting expressed their views on matters relating to party unity, government's performance and some other serious issues. Leaders of the ruling NCP are divided over a number of issues, including the 2 new ordinances issued by the government without consulting the party leaders. The ordinances were later withdrawn after widespread criticisms from all quarters. 3 more persons have tested positive for coronavirus in the country. Health authorities yesterday confirmed the new case on 2 persons from Bara and 1 person from Parsa. All 3 persons had returned to Nepal from New Delhi and were kept at quarantine. Their swab samples tested positive at the National Public Health Laboratory in the capital. With this, number of confirmed cases of coronavirus has reached 57 in Nepal. Among them, 16 have returned home after full recovery. Altogether, 31 persons are undergoing treatment in Biratnagar, 8 in Birganj and 1 each in Dhangari and Bharatpur.
आज राष्ट्रिय जनस्वास्थ्य प्रयोगशालामा गरिएको परीक्षणमा थप 3 जनाको स्वाब नमुना परीक्षण पोजिटिभ देखिएको छ। उहाँहरू पर्सा जिल्लाका 46 वर्षीय पुरुष र बारा जिल्लाका 2 जना 31 र 43 वर्षीय पुरुष हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँहरू तीनै जना यसअघि वीरगञ्ज स्थित नारायणी अस्पतालमा उपचारमा रहेका कोरोना संक्रमित व्यक्तिहरूसँगै दिल्लीबाट फर्कनु भएको हामीलाई जानकारी प्राप्त भएको छ र सिमरा स्थित क्वारेन्टाइनमा रहनु भएको थियो र हाल उहाँहरू नारायणी अस्पतालमा उपचारमा रहनु भएको छ।
The government has so far conducted tests on 57,189 people across the country. During a regular press briefing, spokesperson at the Ministry of Health and Population, Dr. Vikas Devkota, informed that a total of 11,524 samples were tested through the polymerase chain reaction method and 45,665 through rapid diagnostic test procedure.
आजसम्म पीसीआर विधिबाट गरिएका कुल परीक्षण 11,524 वटा नमुना भएका छन्। त्यसैगरी आरडीटी विधिबाट गरिएका 45,665 वटा नमुना परीक्षण भइसकेका छन्। गत 24 घण्टामा 2,367 वटा नमुनाहरू परीक्षण भएका छन्।
According to Devkota, 22,901 suspects are currently kept in quarantine. Likewise, 87 suspects are in isolation. The government is preparing to summon the budget session of the Federal Parliament. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli yesterday inspected the meeting hall of the Parliament building before making preparations to call the budget session. Joint spokesperson at the Parliament Secretariat, Dasrath Dhamala, informed that the Prime Minister inspected the building to take stock of the situation considering the risk of coronavirus infection. According to Dhamala, PM Oli made a field inspection after holding discussions with the Speaker of the Lower House and Chairman of the Upper House.
सरकारको नीति तथा कार्यक्रम, बजेट र प्री बजेट छलफल लगायतका विषयहरूलाई पनि अब सँगसँगै सुरुवात गर्नुपर्ने बेला आइसकेको छ र अहिले कोरोना कोभिड-19 को संक्रमणको सन्दर्भमा संघीय संसदको अधिवेशन आह्वान गर्न सम्भव छ कि छैन, त्यसलाई बैठकलाई व्यवस्थापन गर्न सम्भव छ कि छैन, के कसरी गर्न सकिँदो रहेछ भनेर सम्माननीय सभामुख, सम्माननीय अध्यक्ष ज्यूहरूसँग सहित र सचिवालयको ब्रिफिङ सहितको कुराहरूसँग छलफल परामर्श गर्ने र स्थलगत अवलोकन गरेर त्यसको बारेमा जानकारी दिनको लागि उहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएको हो।
The Parliament Secretariat has also intensified measures to contain the spread of coronavirus following the government's preparation to call the budget session. The concerned authorities are planning additional seats for alternate seating arrangement to maintain distance between the members of the Parliament. They are also preparing to check the body temperature of anyone entering the Parliament building, disinfecting the area and using sanitizers to minimize the risk of infection.
हामीले के गरेका छौं भन्देखि सदस्यहरूको बसाइको अवस्थालाई अलिकति डिस्टेन्स मेन्टेन गर्नका लागि एउटा सिट अल्टरनेट गरेर हामीले सिट व्यवस्थापन गर्ने अभ्यास गर्दै छौं, त्यसको तयारी गरिरहेका छौं। त्यो हामी गर्न सक्छौं र दुवै सभाको संयुक्त सदन बस्नका लागि पनि प्रतिनिधि सभाको जुन हल हो त्यसलाई कसरी व्यवस्थापन गर्न सकिन्छ, कसरी त्यो डिस्टेन्स कायम गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने खाली ठाउँहरुमा सिटहरु थप्ने लगायतका कामहरु हामी गरिरहेका छौं।
The Constitution has a provision to announce the budget towards May end every year. This year, the date of budget announcement falls on May the 28th. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. Locals of Shahid Nagar municipality of Dhanusa have protested against the authorities for distributing rotten rice as relief material. The locals of Shahid Nagar municipality, Ward number 2, were distributed relief material yesterday by the municipal authorities. Rice, lentils, potatoes and oil were included in the relief material package. However, the locals have complained that the relief package had been infested by insects and most of the items were rotten. The ward chair, on the other hand, has admitted the blame by saying that potato is a perishable item and could have been spoilt.
सारा वाला चीजें है जो पैक करे छिए या 2 दिन रह जाए है तो स्वाभाविक है जो कने न कने एगो आधगो सड़ते, लेकिन सड़ल आलू तो नहीं, आलू तो सड़बे करे केला तो जखन ते पन्नी में धक आ बोरा में धरे छी तो 2 दिन रह जाती तो जब रहे जे एगो न एगो सड़ते। रह गेले चावल, तो चावल अते 60 कुंटल चावल है, 60 कुंटल चावल में अपने सब देखल जाओ जे कतो कोनो खोफरी नहीं भेटत।
In a sign of protest, the locals threw away the relief material on the street, while some locals were also involved in confrontation with the authorities. Qatar and UAE have supplied the government of Nepal with medical supplies to help combat the coronavirus. Qatar has supplied Nepal with 20 tons of medical supplies. Qatar ambassador to Nepal, Yusuf bin Mohammed Al Hayal, handed over the medical supplies to Health Minister Bhanu Bhakta Takal at the Tribhuvan International Airport yesterday. Qatar has included PPE sets, PCR test kits, N95 masks, VTS, CRRT machines, surgical masks, surgical gloves and sanitizers, including 14 items. Similarly, UAE has also supplied Nepal with 9 tons of medical supplies. The supplies were sent from the UAE through a chartered flight of Etihad Airways. And now the news from the economic front. The economic growth for the current fiscal year will drop to 2.27%. Central Bureau of Statistics yesterday released data that clearly pointed to a drop in economic growth percentage to 2.27. The government had projected an economic growth of 8.5% for the current fiscal year, but the coronavirus pandemic is set to cause a serious dent to that number. Last year, the economic growth stood at a steady 6.75%. A year before that, it was 6.35%, according to the Bureau. The coronavirus pandemic will hit the service sector the hardest. Of the three main areas of the economic growth, the growth in the first sector will remain at 2.54%, while the growth in the second sector will stay stagnant at 3.36%. However, the third sector, the service, will only see a growth of 1.99%. During the midterm review of the economic growth, Finance Minister Yubaraj Khatiwada had projected that the economic growth would be on par with the growth forecast. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international and sports news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Despite infecting more than 3 million people around the world, there are still 34 countries and territories that have yet to report a single case of the novel coronavirus, according to Reuters. These include Comoros, Lesotho, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and tiny far-flung island nations in the Pacific such as Nauru, Kiribati, and the Solomon Islands. So far, 213 countries and territories out of the 247 recognized by the United Nations have seen at least one case of the COVID-19. Of these, 186 have also experienced local transmission where the virus has spread within the community. There have been deaths in at least 162 of them, the news agency added. Just because a nation has not reported an infection does not necessarily mean there have been no cases. Asia experienced roughly 2 broad waves of transmission across borders, while in Europe many countries started to report cases in the week from late February. Latin America and Africa looked to be virus-free for January and February before the coronavirus spread rapidly through both continents. 5 countries and territories have managed to rid themselves of the virus after reporting cases. These are Anguilla, Greenland, and the Caribbean island of St. Bart's and St. Lucia and Yemen. Russia has reportedly flown 2 nuclear-capable Tu-160 strategic bombers over the neutral waters of the Baltic Sea. According to Reuters, the Russian Ministry of Defense said on Wednesday that it flew the jets during a training exercise. The move prompted Finland, Denmark, Poland and Sweden to scramble jets to escort them. The Russian ministry said the flight was routine in nature and strictly adhered to international airspace regulations. Russia carries out similar training flights over the Arctic, Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, as well as over the Black and Baltic Seas on a regular basis. The Tupolev T-160 aircraft, which can carry up to 12 short-range nuclear missiles, were in the air for 8 hours, the Russian Defense Ministry said. Also on Tuesday, it said advanced jets belonging to its Baltic fleet had rehearsed striking naval targets in the Baltic Sea. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. The coronavirus pandemic could have at least 2 to 3 years of impact on the international football calendar, BBC reported a member of UEFA's executive committee as saying. Lars Christer Olsen, president of European leagues, said that it would be a case of wait and see to assess the disruption of the pandemic, including on the 2022 Qatar World Cup. UEFA hopes to complete the Champions League and Europa League in August. There are also plans to fit 3 rather than 2 fixtures into international windows this autumn to play Euro 2020 qualifiers and Nation League fixtures. On being asked on how long he thought that the international calendar could be affected, Olsen said 2 to 3 years. Olsen further added that there are widespread concerns about the change in the international football calendar. With the Euro 2020 already having been moved, the UEFA faces the tough task of arranging all its club competitions and the international fixtures into next year's football calendar. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. NCP Secretariat meeting ends inconclusively, leaders annoyed with Prime Minister's working style. 3 more people test positive for coronavirus. Number of cases climbs to 57 in Nepal. Government preparing to call budget session. Authorities busy setting up additional seats in Parliament building. 34 countries and territories yet to report coronavirus. 5 managed to get rid of the disease completely. And UEFA faces the tough task of managing fixture congestion, says internal football calendar will be disrupted for 2 to 3 years. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. We urge all our viewers to follow government directives of the lockdown and follow healthy hygienic practices to keep safe from any infections. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.